Hey guys, welcome back to Hot for Health. We're your hosts.
I'm Abby.
And I'm Brie.
And we're really excited to continue on with our birth series and specifically postpartum. I don't know about you, but I feel that this subject isn't really talked about as much as it should be.
Not at all. And I blacked out my entire postpartum journey. It was a wild ride, and I'm 2 years postpartum, and I now just feel like I'm getting back to myself mentally. So we'll touch on a bunch of things today, but we really just want to share our journey. We shared our birth journey, our birth stories, and now the next part is postpartum.
Yes, and I feel also that, with there being so much social pressure for women to bounce back, I feel like it's really important to actually discuss what is postpartum, what happens during postpartum, what you can kind of expect. Again, it's more of like it's a standardized thing, so it doesn't mean that you're going to experience everything that is mentioned, but these are kind of things that women have discussed with their doctors, and it's been published of what you can kind of expect to experience during postpartum. You won't experience all the symptoms. I certainly didn't, but there were some.
I think I experienced every awful symptom.
I know. Seriously.
Every awful symptom of pregnancy.
You really did.
Except for like preeclampsia, but I was a candidate for preeclampsia. So like I still had to take preventative measures. It was awful.
Yeah.
Except I want like 5 more kids. So like as bad as it is, it doesn't stop you or deter you from getting pregnant again.
No, it's truly like a crazy thing. I've always heard from other women, this is not a statistic, this is just other women have told me, you forget about the whole.
You do.
Like traumatizing aspect of birth, which again, it's not traumatizing for everyone. My experience, I personally felt like it was slightly traumatizing.
Oh, you had the emergency C-section.
Yes.
So. Yeah.
But granted, everything was in good health, and as soon as the baby is born, it's like everything you just completely wipe out of your mind. And I want more kids. I want at least 2 more. I would love to have 3.
I feel like you're going to have like 10 kids.
I would if I could. There's a lot of factors.
We went to the lake last weekend, and Abby and her man came with my in-laws, and she had her daughter there too. And Abby was literally flinging the kids. The kids all 3 of the toddlers were running onto the air mattress, and Abby was like hiking them like I don't know what the term is. You were flinging them onto the air mattress.
It was a big air mattress, so it was safe.
I remember looking at my soon-to-be sister-in-law and being like, she needs like 10 kids. Like she is just, you have a way with kids. You are like such a mommy.
Kids. I've always loved kids.
You are
Everyone
literally a mommy.
Knew that about me in high school too.
That's why you were 16 and pregnant.
No, I was not. It felt like I was 16 pregnant because I was 25 and pregnant.
Okay, yeah.
And I was truly the only one out of my friends.
You were the first one.
I was the first one.
And then I was the second one, and now we're trying to have all of our other friends.
I know.
And no one else wants kids.
Not necessarily want kids, but might not be in the place or ready to have kids quite yet.
Like, I want more. I would get pregnant right now if I didn't want my body to go to shit again. That's not happening right now.
But anyways, to get into our series, there's a lot to discuss. We're going to hit you with like we mentioned, our personal experiences, but then also, I've pulled some facts about...
Some stats.
Yeah, some stats about postpartum and just, again, what you can expect or what is typical of postpartum.
Like the norm. Yeah, you want to just jump right in?
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of what we're doing is we're going to ask questions and like keep it more of like a open dialogue, but we just have like things to go off of.
Yep.
So do you want to talk about your postpartum journey first?
Sure. Okay, so I'm going to share my experience and what my journey looked like. I'm going to try to summarize it because then I'll definitely have things to discuss.
We'll like go off into little subtopics.
So my postpartum journey, what surprised me the most was definitely the mental factor. I was very emotional. I felt very sad a lot longer than I should have, which I did experience postpartum depression. Granted, it was not medically diagnosed.
What do you mean a lot longer than you should have?
So postpartum is actually supposed to be, it's typically between like 2 to 8 weeks.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But symptoms can last for
Up to 2 years.
up to 2 years, yes. I did not feel like I had much self-worth, and I was so exhausted. Granted, I had not slept for 3 days when I had my birth and labor experience, and then jumped right into taking care of a newborn. So I was lacking a lot of sleep, and I was just so exhausted. I feel like I was exhausted for 2 years straight. I'm not
No,
going to lie.
moms are literally amazing. Like the shit that we do,
Truly.
like, oh, here you go. Here's a literal baby you have to take care of.
Truly. And I will say, after I gave birth, I truly felt a new appreciation for all moms. Any mom that, goes through carrying a child and or delivering it, it's crazy what your body can do. And I truly had a new appreciation for mothers and their strength and the body changes that they go through. It's actually crazy. It's amazing. It's a lot of emotions that you feel towards it. I did anyways, but I really have a new appreciation for moms. It's such a crazy experience.
Can I just go off of that? The moms just get it. Like it's not like a cult, but like once you become a mom, like you just get it. Like there's like an unspoken thing, and some
Truly.
moms speak about it, but it's kind of like an unspoken thing where it's like, oh, you're a little bit more responsible than someone who doesn't have a kid. Oh, you're a little bit stronger because you've had to go through that. You kind of have a little bit more together because now you're raising another human being and making sure they're
Yes.
alive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
you're no longer
I can't.
responsible for just yourself.
No, and there's a lot of strength in that, and I don't want to say that people without kids don't have that strength, but it's
Just a totally different experience.
a different experience, and you are 10 times more responsible because you have to be. You quite literally have to be.
I know. I feel that way as well. And I also feel that, it's nature. It's biological nature. You become very aware of your kids' needs immediately.
You literally have to.
Yep.
We're like mama cubs mama bears with their little cubs
I
in the
know.
wild.
Truly. It is. It's crazy. It's
I love
a
it.
wonderful experience. But my postpartum journey, so basically after I gave birth, I went home. I was very swollen from the C-section for at least 2 weeks. I actually lost 35 pounds within the first 2 weeks, and that was all fluid. And it was crazy to see. I felt finally back to like a normal starting point of where I could start to get, feel relatively normal in my own body, because before I didn't even recognize myself. But it took a long time mentally to feel normal again. 2 years to be exact. It took me 2 years, about 2 years to feel back to myself. It's a crazy
Wild
experience.
ride. Yeah.
Also, another thing that surprised me was I had extreme mom guilt, especially when I went back to work, or anytime I would leave my daughter to go run an errand. But it's so important to do things that make you happy and do things, without your child. Even though you are a new mom, it's very normal to feel that mom guilt. But it's extremely important to be true to yourself so you can show up as your best self. I think a lot of moms can tend to lose themselves, especially in the beginning, because they feel so obligated to this new life and they don't prioritize themselves at all, which is totally understandable. But just know those feelings of mom guilt, very normal.
I never felt mom guilt.
Really? See? Not everybody
It's
does.
weird because I was like so off the hinges. I never felt mom guilt. I just didn't trust anyone else.
Right.
Like I didn't want her in the car with my mother-in-law or my mother.
Right.
Because I didn't even trust, I don't even think my fiance.
Right.
Watching her. I was just so scared and like untrustworthy
Yep.
of everyone, but I didn't feel guilt. It's crazy because I've heard mom guilt so many times. I'm like, what does that feel like?
Right. Yeah.
Like, I don't have that. I just am just worried sick 24/7.
I know. Well, I would say that's kind of mom guilt.
Yeah.
You're constantly feeling like, am I doing this right? You're questioning yourself. You're wondering, constantly wondering if what you're doing is for the best interest of your child.
It was really overwhelming, especially going to the pediatrician and then wanting to jab the baby. I was so overwhelmed because I was like, I don't know if I should give my baby all of these vaccines
Right.
right off the bat.
Right.
And that caused me a lot of anxiety. I don't know if you felt that way or if you just like
Right. Well, I was
did what the doctor.
I personally just did what the doctor said because I am no expert by any means. I hadn't really done any research and I just trusted whatever the doctors told me, which now in 2025, I feel very differently.
It's all about money.
It is.
Well, they get paid an insane amount of money if they follow the vaccine schedule.
Well, things that are coming out now, I mean, it's very controversial.
Coming out.
But yeah, and also on top of that, I will say I felt the same way though when you said that you didn't trust anyone. I felt the same way. I mean, I trusted them, but I always kept an eye and always felt like
literally helicopter.
Right, helicopter. And even with her father, like if he was getting up in the middle of the night, I would be up waiting till the baby was back in her crib.
It's the mommies.
It's
the mommy in us. We're hardwired differently than the men are because that was our baby growing inside of us.
Yep.
Like, yes, it's part of their baby, but like, no, I literally carried this baby. I'm connected way more to my baby.
You're literally physically part of.
Yeah.
They're part of you.
Yeah. Oh, I love my baby so much.
What surprised you most?
Just about how I couldn't bounce back. So I should have definitely been medicated when I was pregnant. I had severe anxiety. Like Michael and I stayed, I don't know if I ever told you, we stayed at his aunt's house in New Hampshire and it was, I forget, I think it was like 30 acres. The house is on 30 acres.
Yeah.
And I thought that I was a star in a horror movie. So like we boarded up. We literally had to end the vacation because when I was pregnant, I made him board up all of the doors with furniture.
Did you?
So we moved all of the furniture, all the big bureaus in front of all of the doors. We slept with a gun in the bed. Actually, I didn't sleep. I was up every single hour of the night Googling when people break into houses to see if it was like,
I know.
for some reason, I thought that 2 to 4 a.m. I was gonna die.
Right.
But so I definitely should have been medicated when I was pregnant. I had severe anxiety to the point where I didn't even want to go in the car because I thought I'd get in a car accident and hurt the baby. And then when I was postpartum, it was 10 times worse.
Yeah.
It was so bad. I had a lot of like mental episodes if things didn't go my way. I don't even know. It was like something so minuscule. I don't even know. I just remember my therapist got paid a lot of money.
I know. No, and that's
I had
totally
to start.
normal.
Yeah, I've been seeing the same therapist for like 6 or 7 years. And I take breaks when I'm like achieving everything that I want to and I don't feel like there's anything I need to like touch on. But I did go back to her when I was pregnant and postpartum for sure. I did pelvic floor therapy. Mm-hmm. You had a cesarean, so I don't feel like you didn't have to deal with some like issues of like childbirth.
Mm-hmm.
Did you bleed with a cesarean?
No.
No?
So with the cesarean, it's different. So from my experience, it was a very weird, it definitely took 6 weeks before I could, 6 to 8 weeks before I could even get back in the gym.
So you just had it all in the stomach, like nothing was vaginal?
Nothing was vaginal.
Okay.
Yes, so I did avoid any kind of tearing or anything like that.
Yeah, okay.
So no rehabilitation there, but strengthening my core, it was very tough to do.
So I had to do pelvic floor therapy, which I did want to touch on pelvic floor therapy. So pelvic floor therapy is basically, I loved my pelvic floor therapist. So I was like leaking every single time I would go to the bathroom. I don't know what I think it's just from childbirth.
Right.
So I had to see a pelvic floor therapist and they basically put their fingers inside of you and do little movements all along to like loosen or strengthen your muscles to like kind of get your pelvic floor back to normal. It's an hour of someone's fingers inside of you. It's not like the best experience, right. You know what I mean? But it worked a lot. So the pelvic floor, we go to Pilates and you know how the Pilates instructor is always talking about your pelvic floor unravels like 3 times in your lifetime. So the pelvic floor is super important for like your bladder, your bowels, all of your organ supports down there. It's good for core stability. So like your abs, if you have a weak pelvic floor, you're not gonna have a strong core. I focused a lot on that. I didn't think it was gonna be that hard, but my core was shot. My pelvic floor was shot. My mental health was shot. like everything was shot.
We were a mess.
I was a mess. That's basically that. I didn't think breastfeeding was going to be that hard either. I thought it was like, because I've seen other women do it, and I was
And
like,
it's
oh,
such
this
a
is a
natural
walk in the
thing.
park.
That
And it
is
was
not
awful.
true. Yeah. Yep.
Do you want to go down our breastfeeding journey?
Sure. So I didn't really have much of a journey.
We both stopped at the same time.
Yeah,
It's so
I did.
funny.
I actually chose, instead of breastfeeding, I did choose to pump. I did breastfeed in the hospital when she was first born.
Because
I
they
didn't
force you.
They do force you.
They literally force you.
Yeah, it was awful. But I wanted to get her the colostrum, and after the hospital stay, I just stuck to pumping. So I pumped for 6 weeks.
What breast pump did you use?
It was one that was covered by my insurance.
Yeah.
I don't really remember
What
the
color
name.
was it?
It had like yellow.
Medela.
Medela,
Yeah,
yes.
I think that's how I had. Were you hooked up to a wall?
Yes.
The most awful experience. You can't move.
I had no idea that you would be breast pumping for 45 minutes each time you did it, and you're supposed to do it.
What? You did it for 45 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't do that enough.
I did it to get. I mean, it's definitely different for everyone. People produce. less
Everyone
or
is
more milk.
different. Yeah, everyone produces
So it would be like
differently.
45 minutes of pumping for just whatever. Like I usually could get a bottle out of it, probably like 8 or 10 ounces.
Yeah.
And I would do it like 8 to 12 times a day because that was the recommended amount. Honestly, I did not enjoy it, and I slowly stopped doing it over the course of the 6 weeks. But I also did formula feed as well, especially at nighttime. And she would cluster feed a lot at night. So that means cluster feeding is when they're eating a lot in like a short span of time. And hers was definitely during the nighttime. Like I would say from like 4 p.m. to like 9 p.m., which honestly benefited me because then she would sleep
Yeah, that's great.
very well. She started sleeping through the night at 6 weeks for like 8 hours.
Oh, wow.
God knew I needed my rest.
When I was in the hospital, I think I already said this in my labor and delivery, my daughter, some random nurse who wasn't the lactation consultant, is that what it's called? Yeah, it's like a lactation consult that you get. She just tried to get Kiara to latch, and she wasn't helping me do it correctly. So Kiara never ended up latching. I was bleeding everywhere. So I could never like breastfeed on that side ever again. And then that whole entire tear duct was just completely shot. But so I tried my hardest to breastfeed. I didn't really like it. I don't like that sensation. So I liked to pump. I wish I would have gotten the pump that goes in the bra so I could like be driving or like not hooked up to a wall feeling like a milking cow.
Yeah.
It does a lot to your mental when you're stuck up to a wall.
It does.
I don't think I even told you this. I was breastfeeding every 2 hours, and I was trying to like power pump where like you basically like, I think it's like every 10 minutes you try and pump to like get your milk supply up. But
When did your milk supply come in?
I think like within a couple of days.
Mine came after, so I gave birth on Sunday. Mine didn't come until that Thursday night going into Friday.
Oh, okay. I feel like it takes some time.
It does.
You just have to keep pumping and like letting your body, the more you pump, the more your breasts get used to.
Yes.
I remember I was literally pumping before I delivered because I was like, I want to hurry this up.
Yes.
Like my labor. But so Michael and I went for a walk in the morning, and it was a couple of weeks postpartum. It was when like my tears kind of got healed and I could finally start walking again. I literally like couldn't walk. I couldn't
walk for weeks because that no one told me in the hospital to hold where your C-section is to put pressure against it if you're going to sneeze or cough. And I sneezed when I was in the hospital, and it definitely messed me up for weeks to come because I couldn't walk very far without it starting to be really painful, like a kind of like a sharp nerve pain. So
Ow.
Yeah, so it definitely, I feel like almost took longer for me to get to a point where I could even go walking.
Yeah, I want to touch on this later. Actually, I'll wait for later. But so Michael and I were on a walk. I just pumped, and I was like, let me just lose all of this weight. Obviously, it doesn't happen overnight.
Right.
So we were on a walk, and I started seeing stars, and I literally I didn't get unconscious, but I passed out and I fainted. And I remember I couldn't see anything. All I could do was hear. And thank God Michael was with me because I had Kiara and I would just have the stroller. I remember sitting on the curb and Michael like made sure I wasn't in the middle of the street. But I didn't realize that you need to be drinking and eating so much when you're pumping because this happened a few times too. Like I wasn't drinking enough water or like taking good care of myself. I was just trying to survive. But it takes so much out of you breastfeeding. And then I got mastitis, which is a clogged duct in the nipple and you get an infection, and I had to be on antibiotics. And once all that happened, I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like my baby is healthy. I went the 6 weeks. I wish I did it for like a year, but I couldn't.
It wasn't in your cards.
It wasn't in my cards. Hopefully the next baby. And I feel like I know a lot more tools for mental health that like I'm gonna be a lot better and more stable this time around.
And don't forget, this was your first child. Everything you're doing is for the first time. So you're
It's
learning
awful.
as you go.
Yeah.
So there were definitely some shifts physically, mentally, and emotionally that I was not prepared for. And I would say the biggest shift was accepting my new body. That was definitely huge because, as I've mentioned in previous episodes, I have had really bad body dysmorphia before I was pregnant. So I was definitely worried about how I would feel postpartum after I've given, birth, about my body. The skin is so loose on your belly. My
skin is still loose.
I still have a little bit of loose skin, but it's probably not very evident to like people that are
I can't
looking at
tell.
me.
Yeah.
But you notice it. So this whole bounce back culture, that's not a thing. You don't just bounce back. Some people, it's definitely different for everyone. I have to preface that, but it's the expectation of bouncing back is ridiculous. It's a social stigma, and
But it's also easier. You and I worked out during our pregnancies. I tried as much as I could, but like you and I had been working out for a while. So if you want to bounce back, you have to be doing the things to allow your body to bounce back.
Right.
Like get off your ass and go to the gym. Like walk. You know what I mean? Like you don't need to lift heavy weights and hit your
ass and work.
You don't need to hit your PR, but you need to stay active because if you don't stay active, it's going to be very hard to try and bounce back. Yeah,
definitely. And the other thing I think is very important is to allow yourself a grace period. It took 9 months to grow this baby. Give yourself 9 months to get back to your body.
Truly, your body needs even longer.
Yep.
To get back to where it's at.
Yeah. And that's I don't think it ever actually goes back.
No, it doesn't.
You
need to get your boobs done. Like, you cannot, your boobs will never come back. If you breastfeed, say goodbye to your boobs because they're done.
There are a lot of physical changes, definitely.
Do you think anyone's boobs stay the same?
No, I got mine done. Because I was unhappy with the way it looked. It was a year and a half later that I decided to get them done.
Honey, I'm getting mine done too. I'll take the lot. Yeah. I want mommy makeover completely.
I know.
I have no shame in that.
No. And you do what you feel comfortable in. But again, back to the biggest shifts. So accepting my new body was definitely a huge struggle because of body dysmorphia. And another shift was, like I mentioned earlier, was the appreciation I had for the woman's body. Just my body in general. Like, I couldn't believe what this body was able to do, to grow this human being. And when you actually hold this child, you're like, wow, it's crazy.
God,
that
it's
this
like
is inside
a
me.
high.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Mentally though, I definitely struggled with a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression. I definitely had postpartum depression because it lasted far longer than it should have. It was about a year. It was about 2 years, a little over 2 years. Or no, a little over a year where I decided to actually go consult with my doctor, and I got put on Lexapro. Best move. Love Lexapro.
Okay.
It's a Band-Aid, but you still need to do, I think, working out. I also started working out, so I did a lot to get back to myself mentally.
I was on Lexapro too, and it didn't do shit for me. They tried to put me on, not Valium. I don't think, like something where I was like, yes, Lexapro is not working, but I hated the way that I felt because it takes like a couple weeks to initially let those drugs do its work. But Everyone swears by
It actually
Lexapro.
took months for
Yeah.
me to
Oh,
really feel it. Yeah, it was probably like, I would say 6 months for me to really feel the effects.
I was on Lexapro in law school for a couple of years, and then when I met Michael, I got off of it. And I don't know why. I think it's because I'm so against big pharma and pharmaceuticals. I'm like, you're not putting this heavy metal poison in my body. But I wish Lexapro like helped me postpartum. It truly didn't. I took it for, I think, over a year. And then I remember telling my therapist, like, I'm weaning off of this because it's not doing anything.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's a different experience for every single person.
Why don't drugs work with me?
I don't
like,
know.
They don't.
I don't know.
They really don't. Like, people can take Adderall and be normal.
Yeah.
Like, I can't take a pharmaceutical and like,
I know.
Wild. All right, so wellness practices and routines. So you had, our postpartum journey is going to look a lot different because you didn't have to do all those things vaginally. Like I did the witch hazel with the cooling spray, and I had like a cooling pack in a disposable diaper, and it was like a little situation going on in the pants.
Right.
You didn't have to do that.
No.
I did that for months.
With a C-section, you aren't supposed to get it wet for, I forget how long, but whatever the period of time was, I remember you're not supposed to submerge it in like a bath or anything.
Okay.
You are supposed to just gently clean it with some water, and that's it.
Did you belly bind? Like, did you wear? Okay,
that is a huge thing. So
that is very important.
Very important
for the girlies.
For me, I felt having the pressure, so definitely like a wrap that goes around your stomach, which you can get at CVS or any drugstore or online. I did wear that for a long time, months.
I was just reading this book again because I actually never touched on it postpartum. This book, The Holy Grail, I talked about in my labor and delivery. This book literally says if you don't belly bind, just lay on your belly. Like all you need is like that pressure. Right. And I'm like, why didn't I do that? Why didn't I read this book when I was postpartum?
I know.
It's
crazy what you think
just
about.
Do the research.
Seriously, do the research. For healing, I was working out. You know, I started working out. That helped me both mentally and physically. I ate with a purpose. Definitely during that time to get back to.
No, you didn't. I don't believe that.
No, I did. I ate with a purpose.
No sugar?
That's not true.
Okay.
Eating with a purpose. I did make sure that I counted my calories because until I got back to my pre-pregnancy weight.
You counted? Did you macro?
I did not macro. I just counted what I was intaking calorie wise. Because at the end of the day, it is about your calorie intake and how much you're burning off. So I knew I needed X amount of calories a day to lose what I think it was like a pound a week. So I will say I got back to my pre-pregnancy weight after 9 months. It was 9 months, pretty much exactly. And I ate with a purpose. I ate to I made sure that the amount of calories that I was taking in was going to get me to my goal. I don't diet. I don't restrict myself. I definitely tried to do the 80-20 rule where you eat 80% healthy foods and then 20% you
eat like little Miss Piggy,
yes,
like what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to eat like little Miss Piggy tonight.
Yes. One thing that was so important, and I stress this to anyone that's going through any kind of mental load, is especially if you have any type of self-esteem issues or body dysmorphia issues, positive self-talk. I am so guilty of negatively speaking internally to myself. So if I saw myself in the mirror, I'd be like, ugh, I look so bad. Immediately I would say, no, I look great. I'm beautiful. I'm strong. Whatever. It takes a while to kind of get used to, but then you truly start believing it. And there's something powerful about your words and what you speak to yourself.
I was literally just talking about that in therapy yesterday. Yes. So my therapist said, this is literally medicine in like Eastern culture, obviously Western culture. In Western medicine, we're like, oh, here's a drug, here's a pharmaceutical. Right. But Eastern medicine, they take energy into account. So what my therapist said yesterday was your belief in yourself impacts your biology. And if you believe negative things about yourself, you are literally going to get physical ailments. Based on that book, Louise Hay, that I posted on Instagram, where you can heal your life. is all about like this certain body parts. If you believe in a specific negative thing about yourself, this is where it's going to show up in the body. So like if you get headaches, it's because you have this sort of limiting belief or negative belief. So there is a huge impact on what you tell yourself and how it affects your body. And I firmly believe that if you just speak, I've been trying to do this a lot recently, but if you just speak very positively about yourself, I feel like you can heal postpartum and it will help you like get back to yourself as well. Like the way you speak to yourself is either going to be like a pedestal or a crutch for you.
Yeah, definitely. No, I totally agree.
And like it's other cultures literally study this.
Yes.
And like we don't do that at all here. It's such a shame.
Yeah, because it's so important. It was huge for my mental healing.
It is 100%.
Definitely.
Postpartum or not, like we're all healing from something.
And another thing I did, which I found it very helpful for me, was I found influencers on Instagram that were going through the same thing I was, which was postpartum. They had just delivered a baby, and they were previously they worked out. You know, they didn't work out for vanity purposes, but they worked out for their health purposes. And of course, they looked good because if you work out, you put the effort in, you'll look good as well. But I remember thinking, oh, we have very similar body types. And right now they're going through postpartum and having to deal with their body issues, their body image issues. So I followed them, and that helped me get through like, oh, if they can do it, I can do it, you know? And that was more just kind of following people that are going through the same thing as me. And it just validated that, I just need to take things slow. I will get back to how I want to be.
Giving yourself grace to like be with your baby and realize you're a badass for just literally creating life.
Absolutely.
And like you will be a baddie again.
Yes.
Unless you just completely let yourself go, which you and I are pretty hard on ourselves.
Yes.
And like we don't want that type of lifestyle for ourselves. So I feel like we were able to really help ourselves.
Yes.
In that regard.
Definitely. Yeah, and I would say another part of the healing journey is surrounding yourself with a great support team. So my support team was definitely my family. And then, thank God for my mom and also Kyla's grandmother on her dad's side, because they helped so much. My mom literally, especially during the healing period for my C-section, she took care of the cleaning, the cooking, all of it.
Oh, yes.
So I didn't have to move.
My mom would come over too.
Child. Yes.
Yeah.
And that is huge.
So there's something to touch on, but like the number one thing that you would tell people, like if one of your friends was getting pregnant, again, what would you tell her community? Is it food?
I was just going to say
deliver meals.
Deliver meal. That is the biggest help you can do. So the mother doesn't have to, or whoever.
No one has time.
No.
And you think like, oh yeah, I'll just whip up a pasta. No.
You're exhausted.
You're exhausted. Your baby has to eat every 2 hours. Every 2 hours, you're up all night. At least for the first couple of months, you're up all night. Just give them the meals. My mom would come over so Michael and I could nap in the middle of the day.
That's what I mean by a great support system,
It takes a village.
It truly,
it's
when they say
easy.
It takes a village, it truly takes a village. It doesn't mean that you're not capable, but it takes a village for you to get to a good mental state, for you to care, you need to show up for your child. And the best way to do that is taking care of yourself.
If I always say in my house, if mommy's not okay, no one else in this house is going to be okay.
Right. So we've discussed, our experiences. We can go into detail, but I think it's more important to really discuss what exactly can you expect postpartum and postpartum depression. What is this? So they have this thing called baby blues. You may or may not have heard of it, but it can last up to 2 weeks. There's also an extreme mood disorder, which is very rare, called postpartum psychosis.
I probably had that.
Well, no. This is like, you've heard stories of where the mother...
Oh, this is where she wants to harm the baby and herself.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I didn't have that.
So that is a very extreme case of postpartum depression with the specific term of postpartum psychosis. And that can develop after childbirth. So it's so imperative that you pay attention to
how you're feeling and what's going on in your body.
Exactly, and seek help if needed. So I just want to kind of go through some of the symptoms of postpartum depression. Again, you're not going to experience all of this if you do have postpartum depression, this is kind of where you can begin to assess yourself. So postpartum depression may be mistaken for the baby blues at first. But again, baby blues should only last about 2 weeks after you've given birth.
It's wild.
Yes. Postpartum depression are similar symptoms to baby blues, but they're more intense and they last longer. They may eventually interfere with how you're caring for your child as well and handling daily tasks. Postpartum depression symptoms, obviously you experience a depressed mood swings. You might be crying too much. That's me. There's difficulty bonding with the baby, which I do want to point out. People say it's instant love at first. Of course, you love your child. But
yeah, but it's not instant love at first.
No, you are learning. You're bonding with another human being.
Maybe some people have instant love. I did not. It took some time.
And that's normal. I want to point out that is so normal. And do not feel guilty if you don't have that instant connection with your baby.
You'll feel it eventually.
You will.
That's your baby.
Truly. So other symptoms of postpartum depression is withdrawing from family and friends, loss of appetite or overeating, inability to sleep, insomnia issues, or sleeping too much, overwhelming tiredness, loss of energy, definitely part of my experience, less interest and pleasure in the activities you previously enjoyed. So that was another huge indicator for me.
Same. I did not, like nothing could make me happy.
I loved going out with my friends, doing things. I didn't enjoy anything. And I remember sitting crying at night for days, like month over month over month. And I'm like, why am I not happy? I'm genuinely not happy. I'm not enjoying life. And I knew I needed to seek help because I felt extremely depressed. I was crying almost every day, always anxious. And I just was not enjoying my life during this time, even though and that also contributed to the mom guilt. I felt very guilty. I didn't feel like I was fully present with my child because I was so focused on how mentally I was feeling. I was not happy. Other symptoms of postpartum depression is hopelessness, fear you're not a good mother, as I just mentioned, feeling of worthlessness, shame, guilt, again, more things that I felt. Can't think clearly or concentrate, restlessness, severe anxiety or panic attacks, thoughts of harming yourself or the baby, or reoccurring thoughts of death or even suicide, in extreme cases.
I think I was a little suicidal at one point. What your body goes, like your hormones.
Crazy.
So your estrogen and progesterone immediately drop after you give birth. And that is where the mood swings, fatigue, insomnia comes in. And then after you give birth, your cortisol increases, which is a stress hormone. So your body is so out of whack that I wish I could be a woman who didn't experience or won't experience any postpartum depression, but I don't know if it's possible.
It's very difficult, I would say. And
I think you have to be so intentional about your entire environment, your life, what you do with your time. I wish I meditated more. What would you have done differently?
What I would have done differently is definitely prioritize sleep. I remember anytime I would try and close my eyes to take a nap, I would feel guilty because I feel like I'm taking time away from but that's just me personally. Yeah.
The mom guilt.
I had really bad mom guilt.
Yeah.
And people say nap when the baby's napping. Well,
what?
I didn't feel like it.
You literally can't nap when the baby's napping.
Right.
I can't take a 20-minute nap in the middle of the day.
Right.
I'm not a baby. Only babies can take naps like that.
Right.
I don't know. It's not that easy to nap when the baby naps.
No. The other thing was getting so many people's inputs on what you should be doing, how you should be doing it.
Everyone shut the hell up. I hate all this unsolicited advice.
I know. That's another piece of advice to anyone watching that.
Don't listen to anyone.
Yeah. Try to ignore the background noise and just know you need to trust that what you're doing is what's best for your baby.
Do your research, but if someone tries to give you a scare story or something bad happened to them, so it's going to happen to you, those people need to screw off.
But I want to go back to the postpartum. I want to, again, here are some important things that you should know, and it's when to see a doctor, because I definitely waited too long. It can affect, it's easy for other people to not be as understanding because they're not going through it, especially those that don't have children. I will say some men may not understand
Of course, they don't understand. What? They're not dealing with any of the hormones.
Some are a little more sympathetic than others.
Some are more in tune with their woman.
Yeah. And I think, again, there's this negative stigma that, okay, a couple months go by. Why isn't she better? Why is she still moody? Why is she still irritable and causing fights or whatever? May be their mindset, but that is just not true for most, I would say. And so I would say, when to see a doctor is when I would say past the 8-week mark, if you're feeling, symptoms of depression and anxiety and it's not getting under control and it's affecting your life, I would say talk to your doctor. Definitely.
All they're going to do is put you on a medication.
Well,
slap a Band-Aid on it.
But I think it's important for people to discuss with their doctor how they're feeling. I mean, they do a good job at checkups, especially like when you take your baby to the checkups, you answer these questions.
You get like a wellness check.
You get like a wellness check.
Yeah. Even when you go to the pediatrician, they ask how mom is doing.
Yes.
They're like, how are you mentally doing?
Yes.
It's actually annoying. I'm like, what are you going to do for me?
Right.
Are you just going to put this in your chart and like mark me as a nutcase?
Yep. And if there is a more extreme case than just the postpartum depression, I would say this is postpartum psychosis, as mentioned. Here are some symptoms, and you absolutely need to seek help for this. You cannot keep this inside because it can have detrimental consequences. If you're feeling confused and lost, having obsessive thoughts about your baby, hallucinating and having delusions, having sleep problems, having too much energy and feeling upset, feeling paranoid and or making attempts to harm yourself or the baby, absolutely seek medical advice. Again, in extremely rare cases, it gets taken to a point of no return.
Don't pull a Casey Anthony.
Don't pull a Casey Anthony. Yeah, no, but I think the biggest, takeaway from my perspective with postpartum is be aware of how you're feeling. Understand that what you're going through is completely normal, and surround yourself with a great support system if you can. I think that is the biggest, thing. Take care of yourself. So and do what you do is you need to trust is what's best for you and your baby. I think that's the most important takeaway.
Yeah, just like try and be in tune with your body as much, like sit down, try and meditate, try and figure out exactly what's going on. All right, guys, so that wraps up our little pregnancy, labor, postpartum series.
Again, I think it's very important to touch on this topic because I don't think it's talked about enough. And I don't think people realize that it can go on for 2 years postpartum.
You truly do not feel like yourself for at least a year. Give it about a year, and then like you start mentally coming back. It's awful.
It sucks.
It was really bad for me.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, let us know what you want to hear more about. And if you don't, then we're just going to yap away. So you don't really have a choice.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Hot for Health.